Hi guys, Funny Guy Timmy here. As you can see, I have my Sennheiser MKH416 back for another video. I'm not using the where are you? Not using. I have so much nonsense. I'm not using this guy right now, which is the that Samson USB mic, C1 C something Pro. Anyway, so I'm not using that right now because I got myself a new audio interface. Because for those of you who've been watching and keeping up, my Zoom H6 basically doesn't work as an interface anymore. It's getting all kinds of noise when connecting. It's a USB issue, I believe it is. I actually talked to Zoom, and we did some troubleshooting. We did email correspondence, and we went through all kinds of stuff, drivers, firmware, different USB cords, make sure the batteries are fresh, all that kind of stuff, changing mic ports, and same issue. So what I'm going to be doing is sending my Zoom H6 to them, and they will be looking over it. They said if they can't fix it, they'll send me a new one, which is nice. But until then, I decided to go ahead and get a mixer. I haven't had a mixer. I haven't actually used a mixer for voiceover in a very long time. And the last one that I had kind of put me off on the idea of using mixers. It was, I think it was a 2-channel Behringer, small Behringer USB. I don't remember which one. But I decided, after watching a lot of videos, talking to a lot of people, I decided to go with this Yamaha mixer, the MG10XU. I saw a lot of stuff, a lot of praise, good reviews, so I was like, all right, if it doesn't work, I'll just send it back. Now, for those of you who have never used a mixer before or don't know anything about mixers, and you're looking at all of these colorful knobs and dials, and you're getting all confused, and you're like, I'll never understand this. That's exactly how a lot of people are when they first start out in voiceover or music, anything that involves mixers or EQing or anything like that. Really, the only thing that you have to know, and I'm going to go down this and show you how easy it is. The only thing that you really have to know is just one row at a time. Just one row. Because most of the following rows of knobs are the same as the other one. They just go to different channels. Everything here goes to this mic. Right here. Goes to this mic. So none of this, well, some of these over here actually apply to this mic. But none of these actually apply to this microphone. These apply to that one, these apply to that one, these apply to that one, this channel, this channel, this channel, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go down each one of them. So first knob is gain, which is different than levels. It is actually different. It's complicated, and I'm not an engineer, so I know if I try to explain it, it's going to be wrong. So I'm not going to. Basically, you can change the levels on the channel. Like right there, I just turned the whole thing up. Just turn the whole thing up and turn the whole thing down. Set it right back to 50. But if I change the gain, it's going to sound different. Like, you can tell how it sounds different, even though the levels are still... Like, now I've turned the levels down, but the gain's up, and it just seems sharp now. Turn this back down. So, there's a difference between gain and levels. For the most part, that's really all I have for you. Second knob is compression, which is actually one of the things that I actually liked about this mixer, and one of the reasons that I wanted it, is there is a single light compressor. Well, depends on, you know, how much you turn that knob. If I turn the knob all the way, you can see how my audio is going up and down constantly. When I get quiet like this, it'll go really sharp, really high, and there's a lot of background noise. But when I start to yell and I start to talk really, really loud, all the background noise is gone. So I use it only with light compression. And the reason that I wanted to do that, couple things. Let's say you're recording. Now, a lot of people say don't use compression on a mixer at all. Do all of your EQing, do all of your compression in your editing DAW. And that's actually great advice. And for a lot of people, I'd say go for it. But I do more than just voiceover. I do Let's Plays where I'm basically just editing, where I'm just recording my audio and my video at the same time, and it's going right into the footage. And I don't want to peak. I don't want to distort the audio. And I do a lot of tests to make sure that the levels are at the right where they need to be. But then sometimes it's still going to need a little bit of compression to make sure. And for those who don't know, compression is basically taking the highest points and the lowest points and bringing them a little closer together. Keeping that middle area basically the same, but just bringing the highest points and the lowest points closer together. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get all of your audio to be very level, to be very, where if you're listening to someone, you don't have to turn the volume up and volume down and volume up and volume down. Compression is basically doing that for you. When someone gets really quiet, it's turning the volume up so you can hear them. And when they get too loud, it's turning the volume down so it doesn't peak. That's what compression is doing. So, moving on. Now, this one, of course, only has 2 compression channels, or 2 channels with compression, 2 knobs. But, again, the reason I wanted it was for things like doing Let's Plays, doing voiceover with other people, or doing Foley work, podcasts. It gives me more to work with. So, next, we're going down the line, and so the next knob is going to be the higher frequencies. This is where your sharp and brightness is, where a lot of sibilance exists. So my voice, I have all these just right at even right now, but if I was to turn it down a little bit, as you can tell, my voice gets less and less sibilant. There's less S sound. There's less T sound. That really sharpness just kind of goes away. Now, if you turn it all the way down, like you can hear right now, it becomes really muddy. There's no clarity. So you can turn it back up to right about, this is where I actually like to have it on my voice, just to kind of take a little bit of that sharpness off. Now, this is going to be your mid-range, and this is where a lot of your natural speaking voice is. This is where a lot of sound lives in this area. So if we turn it up, it's going to start sounding a little distorted, maybe a little bit more like radio kind of a sound. It's unnatural, but if you were to get rid of it, now all of a sudden, you can't hear anything. It's like having tinnitus. It's like that. So for the most part, I don't touch that one. And then the second one, or the third one, I can't count. Third one is the lower frequencies, and that's going to be a lot of bass, a lot of rumble, like when you get that proximity effect with the microphone, where you can get a lot of chest noise. You can turn that down a little bit where it's not as predominant, where it's not as harsh. Or if you had a lot of traffic or a lot of wind noise, you can do the exact same thing. You can turn that down, and it might get rid of a little bit of background noise. You don't want to go too far, because then it's just going to be sharp and too sibilant. You want a little bit of low bass rumble. I actually like turning that up a little bit because, again, I don't have a lot of presence in my lower that more manly. I like to sound more manly. There, I said it. I like to sound more like a man. There, happy? Okay, so the next one, the next knob, not all mixers have this one, but this one does because it has the effects. This one is how much the effects actually apply to this channel. Turn it up and down. Let's see. Let's just find one. So going to turn that on. Turn on the effects. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Now, I personally, oh, that sounds awful. I don't like the effects. I don't really use them. I don't care for them. But I can see moments in like a podcast or doing a Let's Play or doing like a live stream where I might want to mess with people, or it might be fun or interesting. Or if I was doing a live show and I wanted to add something, a little bit of reverb, something like that, I could do that, but I really don't use it. So I always keep that one down just in case I accidentally turn this on. It's not going to do anything. So, again, turn that down. All right, now the following knob is for your left and right channel, or your stereo mix. So we do this. It's going to go all the way to the left ear, or your left channel, and it's going to go all the way to the right channel. Keep it right there in the middle, and it's going to split the sound evenly. So let's say that if I had 2 microphones, and I wanted to use a pair of microphones, and I wanted to have a stereo effect. And I wanted to turn this one all the way to the right and this one all the way to the left, or a little bit more to the right, a little bit more to the left, to give you more of a, a stereo feel, to give you more of a left and a right sound feel. Or if I was doing a podcast and it was on camera and I wanted to give you the effect of this person over here and this person over here, like you're looking between us and you're actually getting the sound, you're actually hearing us on your left and right side, I could do that. And again, this is level. So for the most part, that's really it. That's really it as far as knowing your knobs and your dials. And this one has a few things with like effects. This one's the overall, I can't tell. This is the overall stereo levels. That's it. Like it's really not that difficult. For some people, mixers are a lot to take in and can confuse them, can boggle them down, and it's really not that hard. There's a couple other things like a 26 decibel pad. Sorry, it says a 26 decibel pad, which is odd because most things go in like increments of 10, like 10 decibel, 20 decibel. This is a 26. What that means is if what you're recording is really loud and you can't turn these down that much without basically them just being off, you can hit this and it's not going to peak. It's the same thing with like certain shotgun mics that have those switches. Same effect. But again, that's pretty much it. We have 48 volts, all this kind of stuff. Plugs right in the computer, works as a interface. If you wanted speakers, you wanted to put some speakers either side, and they hook up XLR, that'd be these. Or if they, quarter inch? Is it quarter inch? Might be quarter inch. So that's where your stereos would plug into. So either way, that's it. And you're listening to, again, I'm not going to do any EQing. I'm not going to do other than that EQing that you saw. I'm not going to do any compression other than that. I mean, you're looking at the settings. Actually, just turn these off. Just level these out, I guess. So you can just listen to it without any compression, without any EQing. And I'm not going to clean it up. You're getting straight audio sample right into the video. So yeah, this is what I'm using now to do voiceover. And I'm not really hearing much of a difference between this and my Zoom H6. I think they both have really clean preamps. I think the compressors work very similarly. I think this one, of course, has better EQing and compression than the Zoom H6. The Zoom H6 has like default settings that you can turn on or off as far as anything like this, but this one gives you like full control. So really, that's it. The only difference between the two is one's portable and one's not. Really, that's it. But I would say if you had to go with one or the other, I think they're almost the same in price. This one was like $350, I think. I think I got it for like $350. It was under $400. And I think the same thing can be said for the Zoom. So they're very close in price range. It just depends, are you using it for portability or do you need it for in-studio? Like I needed something in-studio that was reliable, that would be a workhorse and keep delivering quality work for hours and hours. So I went with this mixer. But if I go on set and I record, or if I have to go on the road and I need to bring, something with me, whether I'm doing a podcast or whatever, I'll take the Zoom. Again, this is just sample. This is my impression of it. I'm not an engineer, so, I can't really tell you where this stacks up versus professional mixers. I haven't really worked with that many professional mixers, like in-studio mixing boards, but of the mixers that I have worked with in the past, this one is actually, I think this is very much worth the money. And if you're getting into voiceover, well, if you're getting into voiceover, just go with this. Just go with this guy. 60, 70 bucks. USB mic. You know, you don't need this. Or you can just get, you know, like the PreSonus the PreSonus interface. No settings, no bells, no whistles, just on and off, basically. But if you're wanting to do more with your audio, do more with your voiceover, and you want more control, both analog and digital, and you don't want to have to do everything in your program, then you could probably go with the mixer. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to see me do any other videos, leave them down in the comment section below. If you want me to do any other microphones or any mixers, leave those down in the comment section below. Don't forget to share, rate, subscribe, lather, rinse, repeat, and I'll catch you later. Peace.